it's so cool to talk to you guys and hear about the process and you know, and especially during COVID, right? Let's just jump right in because voice acting was so necessary because animation was about all anybody could do during that little stretch, right? You got the guys.
Yeah.
So
For a while there, when Sony owned Funimation before Crunchyroll and all of that happened, and Funimation was the single producing entity for all of Sony globally for a couple of months there.
Wow.
They were the only one putting out any new content. And I have to say, Funimation and now Crunchyroll was great at that time, really stepping up and saying, let's figure it out. They sent out like preloaded iPads and microphones with software. Like a lot of us already had home booths set up, but it wasn't set where the engineer could work with it and you could really. So figured it out. Someone spent 90 hours writing the list of like, click on this button, then plug this button in, and sent it all to us and said, we're going to keep you guys working.
Wow.
And yeah, I mean, it really was the Actors Relief Fund for almost a year, keeping a lot of us. Because truth be told, no one can make a full-time living as an anime dub actor.
Right.
Like, we all have other gigs. It's not that lucrative. For some people, those gigs are going to conventions and meeting with the fans, and that is kind of their full-time job. But everybody has 5 different side hustles, 10 different side hustles, and a real job, and we're doing commercial stuff and that sort of thing. And so for a while, all of that just went away. And so dubbing anime was kind of the lifeline, and then voiceover, commercial voiceover too. Because what happened was all the companies that had commercials, like Pizza Hut has, massive commercials already in the can that they now cannot show because it shows happy families sitting in a restaurant eating the pizza.
Right.
Like, nope, that's not going to work. So they all went to and they couldn't shoot anything new. Like, you couldn't do a commercial video shoot because you couldn't have people on set. You weren't allowed. So it was quick, find some stock footage of pizza, and then we're going to revoice it. And so voiceover actors suddenly got really busy in that time, and all of us were just in our closets saying, in these unprecedented times, we're all in this together. I can't tell you how many times, either on auditions or commercial jobs, that I said the phrase, we are all in this together.
Oh, yes.
Over the course of those 19 months.
You were feeling like there was 7,500 people in the closet with you. Like, what is going on? Right?
Yes.
I love
Unlike most acting careers, voiceover acting put me back in the closet.
Right.
I love, though, that you brought up, that you have other gigs, you have other things that you're doing or whatever, because there's this, I think, for whatever reason, this, I don't know, misconception associated with the entertainment industry that anybody works in our industry, we all are rich. We all have money. Right. We're all living the good life. And the fact is that 90% or more of everybody in the entertainment industry, unless you're the Tom Cruises and stuff, we're all going job to job, paycheck to paycheck, trying to scrape it together. So I love when people come on and say, hey, man, I've got a day gig. I've got to do this and do this and do this. Like, because we all do. And the goal is to eventually get maybe Tom Cruise money. But, hey, we get to make the living and do what we're doing. So thank you for the honesty and for the approach of saying, hey, guys, this is how it really is.
Well, and before the anime conventions became so prevalent, and those are huge now, and those are kind of a career path by themselves,
right.
a separate route. But those didn't exist. I mean, I've been doing this since 1998.
Whoa, okay.
So, and there were not conventions, or if they were in, a university commons room with other people in Minnesota somewhere, and we're not lucrative, and the sale of autographs and merchandising and the cameo stuff, none of that existed. And also nobody cared about the dub actor.
Right,
like,
exactly.
Let's be honest. You talked about growing up on anime, but all of us that watched anime in the early days, if we were real fans, we watched the sub.
Yep.
And I'm fine with admitting that. I'm a dub actor. I can admit most people who are true fans in the early days only watch the sub. But some things changed. The streaming was a big part of that.
Mm-hmm.
Because it used to be just DVDs. You'd go into Best Buy or Fry's or wherever and get the DVD, and English language track was like a thing that had to be there.
Right.
Yeah.
It was like an add-on that the company distributing it just made and maybe didn't spend any money on and didn't put a lot of thought into it. But as the industry grew and as streaming grew, suddenly people are watching it on their screen while they're doing their homework, while they're Instagramming, while they're ironing or whatever. You can't read the subtitles while you're doing that.
Exactly.
So over the last, I would say, 6 years, the importance of the dub and the prominence of the dub became a lot more prevalent. And so, Funimation and Crunchyroll and the companies that did that started really working hard to say, like, okay, this is an original art form. We can't just think about this as an add-on, and started bringing in really good writers and really talented directors. And I will tell you, the directors are the most important cog in that entire machine in terms of getting a solid dub out. We can talk more about that process later, but people that really cared about it and said, we're going to make this its own thing and a standalone thing. So now there are people that have seen Attack on Titan and that are huge fans that have never watched the Japanese.
Right.
That watch My Hero Academia and know me from Stain and have never watched it. And you get a lot of people that come up and be like, hey, I love the show. I love it. I've never heard your voice before, which is fine. I totally get it. But because of the nature of streaming content and how people watch it, the English dubs have become a lot more prevalent and a lot more important to people. And so the fan base has really grown. And then also the anime conventions are everywhere now.
Everywhere.
There's one in Texas. I don't do a lot of them. I haven't over the past several years just because, like you said, real jobs and other things. I haven't had the chance. I came back to do one of my first ones post-COVID, and there were 15,000 people there.
Oh, my goodness.
And I'm like, oh, this world has changed.
Right.
This is a different thing. And there's a huge hunger for it. People want to come out and want to see and meet these people and also buy and sell and trade. And the vendor booth that went on for like 5 acres in this conference room with artwork and things. Yeah, it was amazing. But that kind of is a new entry that was not there in the 2000s when I was